to understand simple truths. Logic and scientific thinking are extremely rare. Just look how intelligence on this planet is distributed among those engaged in intellectual labor. At the top, scientists. In the middle, the engineers. Then, actors. And politicians are below everyone. But they know how eloquently and beautifully they speak. After all, not the most honest and truthful one wins, but the one who gets more votes. Of course, there are practical leaders and, in general, quite intelligent ones, but none of them had enough charisma to become the moral authority to shepherd this flock. But even in their wildest dreams, politicians are not as popular as boys chasing an inflated leather ball.
And this is what?
This is sport. People satisfy their herd instinct with competitions resembling fights and battles. In this case, all the people's emotional experiences have nothing to do with reality. Most of them cheer for names, for t-shirts, and not for specific athletes. If completely different players put these t-shirts on, went out into the field, people would cheer them on with the same passion. Adrenaline is boiling in the blood of millions. An observant and sympathetic audience, sometimes billions strong. It seems like they're the ones playing rather than a couple dozen people on the field. And of course, as expected, they cannot do without conflicts and fights. Hatred of enemies from another country even leads to war. People are willing to spend years to build up their muscles, gain more momentum. Hundreds of thousands of people are busy training young people so that they can overtake others by 1/100th of a second. To lift a kilogram more than the others. To jump an inch higher. But they get the greatest satisfaction watching athletes beat each other up. These fun times are associated with animal passion for violence. This is an ode to violence. Thousands, millions of people come up with a variety of ways and the most incredible excuses to compete. And all for the sake of self-affirmation or policy advocacy. Entire countries compete with each other, counting who will then get the most prizes, medals, or some kind of imaginary points.
They don't understand where the game ends and reality begins?
No, people are not able to do so. After all, myths determine their behavior. They live mostly in dreams and fairy tales.
20 Euro, 60.
Have a look at their entertainment, and you will understand. People are very impressionable. Not only did they invent all sorts of stories, but also pass them to each other, passing them off as truth. Their fantasies and dreams are embodied in an artificial reality, and then they play them out on special stages in front of a crowd, or record them to various media. More recently, people have learned to translate their dreams at a distance, and now broadcast them simultaneously to a huge number of monitors. Staring at the screen, they forget that this is just shadow, illusion, fantasy, that actors only pretend to be brave princesses, kings, warriors, heroes and heroines of countless stories. But the audience has a lapse in consciousness, and they think that they exist within these fictitious, artificially created situations. influencing these situations often much more strongly than the real dramatic events of their personal lives. A whole army of professionals is involved in the creation of artificial reality. Those who successfully embody the fictional character and are also physically attractive become the crowd's idols.
And then it's all the same here. Violence, lust for power, and sex. It turns out that they live sort of different lives. One of their own and many fairy tale ones where they are heroes, rulers, lovers. Are you really telling me they can't separate reality from fake sensations?
And you know how they imagine us? Here, look.
How conceited. It looks like they seriously think they're the most advanced species in our galaxy.
We must admit that they are proficient at some things. In painting, and especially in music, they have achieved some success. Mimicking Number Zero, they have done much good and achieved so much in creativity.
Yeah, not bad. Can we do something to help? Adjust something from on high or push something through? Because otherwise they risk complete extinction. Is there really no one who could send them to the right path?
There were some people with varying degrees of penetration into the more subtle realms. But many adherents of separate paths say there is only our truth, and they are willing to kill for it. Like everything else on this planet, even the great ideas and revelations are transformed into an instrument of enmity and hatred, violence and oppression. Gradually, the followers of the prophets and sages began to quarrel with each other. They do not tolerate any other truth than that which they managed to learn. Religious wars have claimed millions of lives. Fanaticism and intolerance are poisoning the minds of people. At one time, religious hatred had abated, and there was more of an ideological clash. And now, once again, it has flared up. It is likely this plague will once again cover the earth, and billions will die. But now they are quite far advanced in the development of their means of destruction. You understand that their will...
It looks bad. They can sully up our galaxy with their release of black energy. Perhaps we need to liquidate this Earth. Do you agree? Or perhaps if we look into the future, we will know exactly what Earth's prospects are. What do you think?
This is strictly prohibited. And the prospect is terrible. It's obvious. The uncontrolled reproduction, overpopulation, lack of food, water, terrorism. Wars for resources will start. Humans will perish, only with painful deaths. We will alleviate their suffering. People will die instantly along with their planet. Earth is just another garbage planet, and we do our work. We clean the dirt out of the galaxy. You can see for yourself the energy emanating from this place.
And what does the center think?
What the center thinks is that we must carry out their directives. Let's just say goodbye to Earth. Still, I've been watching it for so many years that I've grown accustomed to it. There are many nice and good people down there. It's a shame.
Can we still try to reason with them one last time? I'll go down there myself.
This is a big risk, but you can try. However, earlier no one could set life on this planet to rights.
So let me be their last chance.
All right, I'll teleport you there. Just know, this trip counts against your vacation time. It's just 2 weeks, but in their time, well, it's almost 10 years.
It's okay. The introduction was successful. I've chosen a name, biography, and language. I'll find disciples. I'm starting my mission.
Be careful. Several of our people already got into big trouble on Earth.